Hey everybody, this is Billy with Wolf River Music. We're back with something totally brand new, and I think you're really going to like this. Now, it's been a few months since we have posted anything new at all on this channel, but that's because we've been busy discussing topics and new ideas for another series about the music that we love and about the musicians that we admire. This new series is called The Vinyl Review: History in the Grooves. We're going to take an up-close and an in-depth look into hundreds of full-length albums on vinyl, starting in the mid-1960s, working our way through the 70s, into the 80s, and then beyond, for as far as we can take it. We're going to talk about the history behind these recordings, the musicians, and the musical groups that made all of it happen. We'll look at the bona fide classics and also some of the releases that either flew under the radar at that time or else some that maybe just kind of faded away into obscurity. We'll dig deep into the back catalogs of some of the biggest names in musical history over the past 50 or 60 years and do our best to give time to some of the less famous names that still deserve credit for their work. You're going to hear about all of the best albums ever recorded, and you may even be shocked by some of them that turned out to be real stinkers, even by some artists that have also created fabulous records. We'll try to figure out what happened with some of these albums and why a few of them just didn't really seem to work. And we're not just talking about commercial success. Some of the greatest musical recordings that were ever made were just way too far ahead of their own time, and they suffered from a lack of initial sales and radio airplay. Some of these great albums took decades to finally be fully appreciated, and some that failed even caused the musicians or the groups to break up or to just give up and go back to their day jobs. We've developed a list of no less than 43 different questions that we're asking about each and every single song on every album that we choose to review. We're going to analyze the depth and the honesty of the lyrics, and we're going to give bonus points to artists that were clearly ahead of their time, regardless of their commercial success. And we're going to judge harshly anyone who filled up their albums with B-side filler material or blatantly copied the styles of other successful artists of their time periods. We're going to be fair, but we're also going to be brutally honest. We're going to do our homework, and then we're going to ask the hard questions so that we can justify our opinions and the critique that we're going to throw at all of these musical creations. Creativity, boldness, and beauty will all be rewarded with high marks. But musical or intellectual laziness, sounding dated or superficial, might cause some albums to get an F. We'll focus on all the high points and the low points, trying our best to differentiate between the greatest musical achievements and the biggest disappointments. You know, honestly, most of these albums are probably just going to fall within that zone of average to slightly above average mediocrity, and that's okay. Even mediocre music can still make people happy, or else it can just be ignored and eventually forgotten. It's just the universal law of averages. Not everything can be graded as an A+ or deemed to be great. So please don't get your feelings hurt if some of your favorite music might seem to get judged a little too harshly. Listen, you're still entitled to your own opinions just like we are. You can choose to listen to like, to love, or even hate anything and everything that you want to. We're going to judge this music for the sake of its artistic value, based on some very stringent criteria. And remember, we're not just talking about singles or hit songs. We're talking about entire albums as a whole. An album with a single great song, top 40 hit or not, but then rushed through production with a bunch of B-rate filler songs, is not going to rate out as a great album. And sometimes you're going to see that very often an artist's hit songs can actually turn out to be some of their weaker material. Great musical artists want to write great songs that they feel personally connected to and that they believe in. And then they want to put all of their best material onto their albums. But record labels, on the other hand, want to hear hit songs, and they want to make sure that side one has at least 2 or 3 of these in order to make the album sell. Look, that's just the music business, and it's always been that way. We're not going to review live albums or compilations, and no collections of greatest hits. We're focused completely on studio recordings that have a place and a time attached to them. And we're starting at the end of 1964, right at the very beginning of what many music critics refer to as the golden age of rock music, 1965 to 1971. Now, I'm going to explain that rationale in a lot more detail when you come back and join us again for episode 1 of the Vinyl Review. But in the meantime, I would like you to please subscribe to our channel so that you'll always know when these new videos are coming out. This is going to be a long series, and it's going to be very comprehensive. There is a ton of recorded music out there, and we're planning to keep this up for as long as we possibly can. So please, come back and start this musical and historical journey with us right here at Wolf River Music. And once again, this is Billy. See you next time.